I think it's not an Ultra 4 car if you don't have a leaking diff, right? So.
Well, here's a good thing about a leaky diff, is you know that there's still oil in it.
Yeah. You only need to start worrying when
it's not leaking anymore.
What's up, Brite Nation?
What is going on, Brite Nation?
So, in today's video, we are officially, for the first time, going to be going over
all the damage.
The damage recap that we withstood or took in or whatever got while racing for 11 hours.
The damage is sustained.
Sustained?
Edit
During
that
King of the Hammers. We'll cut out the rest of that, probably not. But anyways, damage video. But before we get into it, one thing that Kevin and I really, really wanted to do was say thank you.
Yeah, first and foremost, guys, thank you. Thank you to all of Brite Nation. Thank you to all of our sponsors. Thank you to everybody who showed up on the lake bed, who hit up the chat on live feed. I mean, we have the best, we have proven hands down, we have the best subscribers in the world. You guys are freaking amazing and kept us going through the whole race.
Guys, the level of support that we were shown was absolutely, it was...
That's why Brittany was crying at the end of the last video. It wasn't finishing the race,
dude,
it was
the amount of people cheering for us on the sidelines, cheering for us in the live chat, and the YouTube channel, on Facebook, on Instagram, and you just, thank you. We just want to say thank you. It means the absolute world. We wouldn't be where we are today without all of you guys and all of the support that you've shown us. Now, another thing that we wanted to go over was, speaking of YouTube comments, we got a lot of comments in the last video, the King of the Hammers race video, which if you haven't seen it, you can click, I'll have it appear up here or something like that.
You gotta watch it.
You have to go watch it.
The greatest edit that Brittany's ever done.
Thanks.
She spent like 40 hours editing that video, guys. Like 40 hours. The race was only 11. She spent 40.
Hands down the hardest video I've ever edited in my entire life. Totally worth it though. It was super rad. But anyways, a lot of the comments also said that they wish that they'd had a lot more like documentary style or narrating style video where Kevin and I actually talk about what went on in our heads throughout a lot of the race. Well, we're one step ahead of you. So we actually are releasing a exclusive documentary on e3offroad.com. Now, if you're not already part of our E3 family, you can go to this link right here and you can sign up, become a member, and get access to all sorts of cool exclusive stuff, from video and media content, webinars, podcasts, all sorts of cool stuff, including events and discounts.
Huge discounts on parts from all of our partners throughout the entire industry and the events that she's talking about.
Such as the first ever E3 Association Conference in Las Vegas on June 4th through the 6th this year. Now, this is not just E3 Off-Road with Kevin and I, but this is also E3 Overland with Brad, aka Trail Recon, E3 Camping with Mark and Trish from Keep Your Daydream, and E3 Firearms, not to mention a ton of cool partners, a ton of awesome speakers. It's gonna be freaking rad. And if you wanna go to this link right here, I'll put it here again. You should definitely,
Guys.
You should definitely sign up to come join us. It's gonna be probably one of the raddest times ever.
It's everybody. It's a huge conference, everybody together in one place, and yes, you can even come meet Jelly Belly.
Yes, she will be there. Now, speaking of E3, a lot of people also ask us all the time, do we have a Patreon? Because they want to find ways to help support us. And technically, yes, we have a Patreon, but you might notice that we never actually promote it or anything like that. And the reason that we don't is because for us, Patreon doesn't give back enough to those that support us. And that's where E3 Off-Road kind of comes in. It's our way of being able to give back and give benefits to the people that love and support us. Guys, it's just, thank you. Thank you. Anyways, with all that out of the way, Kevin, let's do the honors.
Now, since we've been driving the Ultra 4 car at King of the Hammers, we never actually got a chance to show you this awesome cover because this is an open buggy, and we've been searching for a way to actually trailer it with covering it so we don't kind of just get everything dirty and damaged. And,
dirty?
Well, you know.
Dirty?
But I do clean it. All right. Anyway, so this is a towable, breathable, washable, every kind of cover, and it protects it from all the elements. So this is a race wrap by Hostyle, Hostyle. These guys make door bags, they make covers for everything and anything that you need, even a custom built bomber
chassis.
So I've already got the straps undone, but it would just pull down there like that. One of the I like that sticker. One of the cool things is they actually have windows. So you can actually get into the car if you need to get into it for anything.
Full access to it.
Right, but this, I'm hoping this keeps it from being stolen as well. It's just kind of an extra deterrent because once you have all the straps on here, you can even run like a cable and a lock, and that'll just keep the cover on. But things super bad. We got it from them. And let's show you the damages. Are you ready?
You mean the damages on...
You ready?
Well, it doesn't look so bad from this angle.
that side, Brittany.
What? You need help? I can't, I'm filming.
My favorite part of the bomber car right now? Boom!
Dude, guys. This panel right here, this whole thing.
No, you can't have it. People keep asking, can I have your panels?
You can't freaking have our KOH panels, you kidding? These are ours. This one in particular is getting framed or put up on a garage whenever we decide we want to, buy a house or, be adults or something. But this one's ours. That is, oh, I get all giddy even just looking at it again, guys.
Ta-da!
Ta-da!
Okay.
So like I said, as you can see from this side, it actually doesn't look half bad. It looks like we really sustained almost no damage.
Yeah.
Until you go to my side. Until you get to my side of the Ultra 4 car. And then you look at it and you're like, oh God. What? Kevin tinfoiled my door panel.
Well, you wouldn't be quiet, so I was...
What? Wait, one more time.
So Kevin over at VP Racing actually got it on video. Maybe I can get that from him at some point. But it was a joke about if Brittany gets on my nerves or she won't be quiet, I'm just gonna put her door into a rock. And then we come back, and he was actually at the finish line, and when we finished, and he comes over, he goes, "Oh, she wouldn't shut up, huh?"
Stupid dude. So I actually didn't show how this happened on our KOH video, so I'll show it. I'll show it to you right now.
Driver, there you go.
Now, in addition to Brittany's door panel here, that's actually zip tied to where the Zeus fasteners go, because when we were driving, we were doing like 60, 70 miles an hour, and the whole thing's just like peeling open.
All the way back to the finish line, it was like doing
peeling
this.
open. Now, that happened on Sledgehammer, but let's start at the front of the vehicle real quick. So really up front, we see a couple hits to the axle housing, the shock mounts, but that's all pretty superficial.
Yeah.
I did smash this guy in here. So this is a cover for our ram. Good thing we had that, because that was obviously one hell of a hit. And it looks like I may have dented. Yeah, I definitely did. There's a dent in the axle housing.
Hold on. Let me get in here so you guys can actually.
There's a dent in the axle housing right there.
You see it? Divots inward.
But
pretty good.
Yeah, but that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, still, it's all par for the course, right?
Yeah.
It's King of the Hammers.
No, that's good. But so everything held up. Our new knuckles, the U-joints, the Yukon U-joints, everything up here is great. I mean,
it's actually in not half bad condition.
So the only thing we do have up front that's any concern that we need to address is actually, if you look right here, we have some leaks from the front diff. So there is a little something wrong there. I mean, but a leaky diff. I mean,
I think it's not an Ultra 4 car if you don't have a leaking diff, right? So
well, here's a good thing about a leaky diff. Is you know that there's still oil in it.
Yeah. You only need to start worrying when
it's not leaking anymore.
Now, as for the tires, one thing that Kevin and I were super excited about, and we didn't really realize the impact of until we crossed the finish line, but we actually finished King of the Hammers with the same spare tire that we started with. We swapped to the Nitto Trail Grappler K-Spec specifically because they had the strongest sidewall out of everyone. It's hands down known to be the toughest tire out there. And obviously it is, because
there's our spare.
There's our spare.
Brand new, look.
That's because it is, because we never used it. We didn't slash a single tire. We didn't have a flat, which means that in addition to the Nittos holding up, the Dirty Life racing wheels did as well. We didn't have any flat tire in terms of the beadlock ripping or being pulled apart. We didn't have a wheel break. We didn't have any issues with the wheel and tire combo that we had on this rig.
And I didn't not hit it. I definitely put them into some rocks for sure. I mean, look at this hit. We took a chunk out of that tire, but
we definitely put it through its paces, and they held up extremely well.
Now moving a little bit further back, you can say our JE Reel Canyon Crawler drive shaft, perfect shape. I didn't even really hit the front at all. I might have just ground a little bit on the front. Yeah, but not bad. The new Rock Crawler aluminum arms, those got tagged a few times. That's all good. And then, moving back to the transmission, if you guys remember, we notched out that cross member, and obviously that worked. I don't see any, it's kind of hard to see in there, but there's
no impact
no
to
impact.
the transmission pan, which was an issue before.
So everything we did here worked out really, really well. So the engine, you know, Josh's
Despite
CBM.
being tipped on its side.
Yeah, the engine, the transfer case, all that perfect shape. Now, if you get to the rear drive shaft, you will see I did tag it up there, up there, up there. I got into that drive shaft a lot, and it held together. So that's the JE Reel Canyon Crawler, which is the same thing that we run on the Stepchild.
On our Jeep.
Yeah, so that's the same thing we run on our Jeep, and obviously it held up to all of King of the Hammers. We didn't go through a single drive shaft. I did have the spare, just in case.
Just in case, but we never, again, like the spare tire, we never used it.
Yeah, so that's super awesome. Now, as we move back, you will see a nice, shiny, new anti-rock sway bar right there. Well, that didn't get put on until after the race, actually.
Why is that, Kevin? So, hold on.
What?
So if you'll remember, on our very first pit stop after lap 1,
Oh, yeah.
Kevin and I both asked Dusk Junkies, the pit crew we hired to run the race for us, we asked them to check the sway bars because the car felt super
tippy and leany,
and we thought we'd broken a sway bar.
And you could see them in the video checking them. They were tightening everything down.
Yeah, they were making sure that it were fine. Well,
and this looks fine. Look, that's on there. That looks fine. But the problem is,
take a closer look.
can you see it?
You'll notice
That there's no teeth left.
there's no more teeth left in that arm. And so it turns out we actually did. We were feeling exactly what we thought we were feeling, and our sway bar had an issue. But the only thing is this, I think, was an issue
A long time ago.
before the race ever even started.
So thinking about it, I've been learning to drive an Ultra 4 bomber chassis with no rear sway bar. So the front sway bar has been on, the rear sway bar is on, but at one point in time, this must have been loose and it ground out all these teeth. So this entire time that I've been learning to drive and race this thing has been with no rear sway bar. So now the reason I think this happened a long time ago, one is because of the wear that's here. There's no way that that happened. But it was one of our first times testing it out at Johnson Valley. I went out, and out on my way back in, I was coming around a corner and I just felt the whole car really roll over.
And it's always seemed to do that more than it should. But
right.
we were so new to the bomber chassis, we don't know what's normal and what's not.
Yeah, I had no idea how it was supposed to feel. And so I had checked everything. I never pulled them off, but I had checked the torque on everything, and I just figured
that's just
how it's supposed to feel. So literally I've been learning to drive this thing with the front sway bar and
no rear sway
a
bar.
fake rear sway bar because of this.
Yeah.
But we got with Rock Jock, they got us the new anti-rock. We got that on there, and I haven't gotten to drive it yet, but it's kind of awesome that we
Super
actually have.
shiny. This also explains why you bicycled it so hard during the qualifying
So
lap.
a couple things. The bicycling is because it's the back's rolling over super hard and all that weight's transferring over. And then the same thing on the back door when you saw that guy accidentally push me over. He didn't do it on purpose. I know a few people had said he did.
He was just trying to help.
He was just trying to help, and he was on a rock. But when he leaned on it, the whole reason that flopped over was because there was no rear sway bar. So it allowed the whole body to rock all the way over.
Which pulled the rest with it.
Whereas if you had the rear sway bar, it would have been pushing back against him. So I had no rear sway bar to push the body back against him.
So we're hoping that this being fixed now, which is probably honestly the biggest break that we've noticed since King of the Hammers, which
was already broke, which was already broken before King of the Hammers. So
it should really help with the drivability and the control that this thing has. So another issue without having that rear sway bar is even during the race, we had situations where the car got really tippy in areas where it shouldn't have gotten that tippy. And one of those situations happened to be about halfway down King's Graveyard, where Cody Wagner's 4400 car, unfortunately, despite being in first place for most of the race, had broken down and had to get pulled off sort of to the side-ish.
He was halfway on the trail.
Part of the trail. And we tried to go up high and around, and we couldn't. The car got really tippy, and it felt like it was going to potentially roll over. So instead, you'll remember from our King of the Hammers video, we had to essentially go right by him and then cut downhill. And the KOH drone actually caught that on footage. And lucky for us, we were able to do it just perfectly so that his tires crawled up over our tires, a little under our door panel, you see all the tire marks there, and then up over our rear tire. We luckily got by him without causing really any damage to our car or his car, and we kept on our way. But like we said, King's Graveyard was probably one of the hardest trails out of the entire race, and the rest of this side of the car kind of shows that. So you see this beautiful cut in our brand new PRP window nets.
December of 2020. We got it. So we had a whole year on it, and now.
Yeah, we got one race on it.
Yeah, one race on it.
It also, you can see tagged right here, our PRP racing seats. It tagged right here, our roll cage. It actually tagged right here, our fire extinguisher, which luckily this one's mounted further in than the passenger side. If it had been mounted further out, like on that side, we very, very likely could have punctured this fire extinguisher.
That'd have been a good video.
We also put a sizable dent right here in the roll cage, and we tagged this. Now, if you're asking which rock did all of that damage, because it was one single rock that did all of it, it was the one where Kevin actually, on the live feed, was taking a hard left turn, and he actually tried to do a front dig to get the rear end around so he could go. It's the same exact one where the announcers are like, oh, they've lost their rear wheel drive. They don't have four wheel drive. They're only front wheel drive now. What happened? No, we didn't lose anything. Kevin intentionally tried to do a front dig to try to swing around that rock, and we had to essentially across the entire rock.
It hit the mirror right there, too.
Yeah, you can see.
So, like, it hit the mirror, and then I was into it, and it was like, I could have taken the time and backed up multiple times and whatever, but the sun was going down. We were on King's Graveyard, and I was like, screw it. It's a cage chassis. Just go.
Go, and we did, and we made it by. We didn't damage anything. Well, we didn't damage anything very significantly.
It's all cosmetic.
It's all cosmetic. It's fine.
Now, huge shout out to Bill Stein. The shocks, obviously, as you saw from the helicopter footage, these things performed phenomenally. It felt great out in the desert. It felt great on the whoops. There's no leaks. There's no damage. We didn't hit them anywhere.
They performed at 100% for all 11 hours.
Didn't feel any overheating, didn't feel anything. So even like the air bumps, everything worked absolutely perfectly. Now, one thing we get all the time was when we added the rear tire carrier, there's so many people like, oh, you need to move it forward. Oh, it hangs off too far in the back.
You're gonna
hit it. You're gonna lose it, whatever. We just did the hardest, possibly the hardest King of the Hammers ever, right? This is, some people arguably say this was the hardest King of the Hammers ever. And
it's still there, guys.
It's still there. Now, Randy Slauson.
The guy who won.
Yeah, who won King of the Hammers this year. And he's a 3-time champion. He runs the same thing.
He is actually the one who designed this. He's the same one who designed the entire chassis.
And if you're gonna rip it off, it would have been right at the very beginning in the back door where we flopped. But I mean, you can look, even down here, look.
We never really
I hit this.
We did hit that. But we never, what is that?
It was going to be where our number plate was at.
Oh, and then we moved it. And I guess we just never took that. Anyways, it's fine.
Yep.
It held up just fine.
I do got to say, another thing people asked, which was kind of cool to have back here because you knew it was us, because you saw the bright orange Max tracks hanging off back here. We lost those on the 3rd lap after King's Graveyard. At some point, I think I hit it and it spun and it was kind of hanging out. A lot
of people asked us, they noticed that they were missing at the finish line. And they're like, where'd they go? We don't know.
They're out there. They have our number on it. If somebody ever finds them, they have 999 on it.
I think someone went home with a really cool souvenir.
They were brand new, so they fell off. Other than that,
we have one more pretty important damage to report.
So after lap 2, if you didn't hear Dust Junkies tell us, hey, you got a leaky rear diff, and we're going to put some fluid in it, and sure enough, we definitely do have a leaky rear diff. Now,
we have leaky diffs, guys.
Yeah, so when I cleaned it up the other day, it's actually split. It's actually cracked. It's leaking around here probably because the bolts are loose, but right here, look how gooey. Look
there's that super thick 250.
Yeah, so like right in here somewhere, there's a crack coming down, but I also think these nuts keep coming loose off these studs, and we keep having this problem. And I also did hit this pinion protector. I hit it pretty good up here, and it's almost hitting the drive shaft, the U-joint, but it's not. Yeah.
That took some insane abuse.
Yeah.
And this is honestly the worst thing that we crossed the finish line with in terms of mechanical damage, issues, whatever, is a pretty decent leaky rear diff. We had no other damage. We had no mechanical damage or mechanical issues or flat tires or anything throughout our entire race. I don't know how, but we didn't. It was so rad. Oh, it just literally leaked. It just literally went bleh. I mean, technically, at this point, if we needed to go tomorrow or even later today to race this in another race, minus the leaky diff, we kind of could. I mean, as long as we made sure that there's fluid in the diff at all times, like I said, you don't got to start worrying about it until it's not leaking. We'd be good to go. Just kidding. Disregard everything that I just said about being able to race the car right now if we really had to, because we just found out we can't.
Yeah. So
a little worse than we thought.
the rear diff leaking was a culmination of things. So one stud was broken right here, and all the rest of these were loose. All the nuts were loose on the studs, and I don't know why. They were all torqued, and I'm assuming it's just, I guess we should have Loctited them. They weren't Loctited, so they all.
Yep, that's not supposed to do that.
All right, and then the crack that we fixed a while ago is back. You can see it right there, right below the stud.
Yeah.
See the crack?
Yep.
Yep. So that crack is back.
Sweet.
So we're back to fixing the rear axle housing again, but it made it through King of the Hammers.
It did. It did what we needed it to do.
And we either need to replace this whole thing or just kind of cut into it and clean it back up again. So.
Hi. Yes. So we've got a little work ahead of us, guys. But in the meantime, thank you again for all of the love and support. Thank you to Woody for letting us borrow the I Hate Mud headquarters to do some repair work on the damage that we sustained during King of the Hammers. For what we put this thing through, it came out the other side in relatively one freaking awesome piece. Like, we are well beyond happy with how well all the hard work we put into this, it was worth it. How well it performed was amazing. Anyways, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Remember, you can find all your Lite Brite Nation merch at litebritstudios.com. All your Lite Brite Nation decals at pixeldecals.com. Jellybean, come here. Everyone missed you. Ugh. We love you so much, guys. Mwah. And we will see you next time.
Bye, guys.
Guys, I just want to show you dedication to my art form right here.
We're literally wheeling, doing like
Look at
buggy lines.
Wait. We are off-roading in Sand Hollow right now, and I am literally editing on the trail because I have a video.
Hey, why don't you just pay somebody to edit for you? Like the easy ones, like not the KOH ones or the fun ones you like to edit. Have somebody, pay somebody to edit. Who wants to get paid to edit Lite Brite videos?
Did you say me?
Me.